let me first see. Does everybody hear me from here? Yeah? Okay, because I tend to walk around. I'll try to stay behind the microphone, but I know how I am. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I'm basically going to take a few steps back compared to what you've heard this morning and give you an almost 100% acronym-free talk where we're going to look at things from the we're going to look at things from the perspective of the person who just wants to use the social network or the social tool and see why social network portability and structure, I'll explain what I mean by that, is important for the user. Well, that was my first two slides. I'm not used to speaking with slides, so forgive me. And also they're, I'm sorry they don't have much drawings and things because I didn't have any internet access last night, so I wasn't able to go and pick up photos on Flickr. First thing, from the point of view of somebody who uses a social network, what's a social network? Basically, a social network is about me. I have a profile where I can say a certain number of things about myself. It's about my contacts, the relationships I have with other people, and it's about something that we interact about, the object. So for example, if I take Doppler, which is a pretty popular travel social network, I hope everybody here knows Doppler. I have a profile page, then I have fellow travelers that I'm connected to, and what we talk about are our trips. So, the problem with social networks is when you want to sign up for another social network because you have to fill in your profile again and you have to find your contacts again. We've all been through that, and I mean this might sound a bit obvious, but it's good to remember that this is why we're so interested in social network portability. For a social tool or a social network, usually when a user has more contacts, it makes the service more valuable. Okay, if I'm on Twitter and I'm following one person, it's not very exciting. If I'm following 10, 15 or 20 people, then I start getting more out of the tool. At some point this breaks down. If I'm trying to follow 5,000 people, it probably won't work unless my name is Robert Scoble. So, as a user, the thing that I want when I sign up for a new service is to not have to fill in my favorite movies, favorite actors, and favorite songs all over again, or my 5-line description of who I am. And the other thing I want is not to have to go through all the list of people on the social network to find the people I already know and add them again. Okay? That's what's boring and problematic. So, let's look at the profile. Basically, this is not the worst problem for the user because you can actually copy-paste. Okay, if I've entered a list of films in Facebook, I can really copy-paste it into Orkut if I want. The other thing is that your profile depends somewhat on the type of social network you're in. Okay, I'm going to present myself differently on LinkedIn or on Facebook. So I'm going to want to modify things, definitely. OpenID does a little bit of this. If I sign up to a service using OpenID, it already has my name, my email address, my website, and maybe a few other little things. So, part of the problem. The bigger bit is my people, my contacts. So, you've probably seen, certainly if you've signed up to Facebook or even Twitter, you've probably seen a very bad solution to the whole problem of having to find all your contacts all over again. This very bad solution is, please give us your email address and your password and we'll go and find all your contacts from Gmail and import them. Okay, it sounds great. I know that the first time I saw that, it was on MySpace, and I thought, oh, do I really want to give MySpace my password? Then I thought, oh well, if they're doing it, it's certainly okay. And so I put in my password, and MySpace said, hey, 20 people in your email address book are already on MySpace. Do you want to be connected to them? And I said, yes. And I thought, this is wonderful. And then I saw it in Facebook, I saw it in Twitter, I even asked some social networks I was using to implement it. But then I read an article written by Lisa Reichelt. I don't have the URL here, but I'll stick it online. It's called something about responsible design. Her weblog is Disambiguity. Somebody can just stick it in the back channel, it'd be nice. Where she says, actually by doing this, we are teaching users to get caught by phishers. We're teaching people that it's okay to go and give your password to other people. It is not okay. So we really need to stop doing that in social networks. What we need is systems which are more like what Flickr does. When you want to use Flickr with another application, it takes you on the Flickr site, it says, hey, this application wants to, have access to your information, is that okay for you? That kind of thing works. Or Facebook apps actually do this. An application on Facebook is a kind of social network in the social network, which says, oh, you're going to install vampires and dragons. Will you let vampires and dragons see who your friends are and what your personal information is on Facebook? And you say yes. So as a user, I need more of this kind of stuff. But there's a problem, another one, however. It's that who my friends are and what my profile is depend on the context. Okay? If I'm on a social network about travel, or a social network about photography, or about finding a job, I'm not going to want to be connected to the same people in the same way. And this is where things break down. All my contacts are not equal. I don't have a flat network where everybody is my friend. Okay, people on Facebook know that. Everybody is not your friend. Your friends on Facebook are not necessarily your friends. And Facebook knows that too, maybe because it's starting to implement things like friend lists. My social network is a lumpy thing. Some people are closer to me, some people are further from me. So this is what my social network is not. I'm talking about social networks, this is what I would call a social graph, okay, visual representation of my network. So this is not my network. This is my network, that's me, okay? And there are all these people, some of them are close to me, some of them are further off. I'm going to want to share some things with certain people, some things with others. So I need a way to structure or organize my network. Okay, this is where the structured and unstructured portable networks comes in. And I need this to happen in two ways. In an explicit way and an implicit way. Explicit would be tagging contacts or putting buddies in groups. If you use IM, instant messaging, and you have lots of contacts, you perhaps have organized them in groups. Okay, my good friends, boring people who want me on their IM list, people who live in San Francisco, family, co-workers. These groups are private. Nobody else but me knows that the boring people are in the boring people group, and that's important. But by giving tags to people, okay? One person can have many tags. It can be co-worker and boring person. Or it can be best friend and lives in San Francisco. And the implicit way of organizing my social network is, and this is related to what Dan was talking about, what I do with people. Okay, what do we do in the network? For example, do I send lots of private messages to this person? Oh, well, that's information that the social network or the social tool could use to put the person I am a lot with in kind of grouping. I don't have any technical solutions for this. This is really just from the perspective of somebody using the tool, how I'd like it to work. And I mean, this is who we build the tools for, right? We build tools so that people can use them. So, I think having the ability to structure one's network is important for three things. It's important for scaling issues. Once you have 500 friends on Facebook, it doesn't work that well. You need to be able to say, well, actually, these are the 50 people I kind of care about, and here are 200 people who are contacts. I've met them once, we talked for 5 minutes, the person seemed nice, but they're not really a friend. And I need to be able to filter different groups of people. Okay, that will allow these social applications to scale. What happens now is that when one service you're using gets too filled up with people, you kind of stop using it, and then you go and sign up for the next cool thing, and start again. And it's great when you've got 50 contacts, but once you've got 500 because everybody has joined, it doesn't work anymore. Portability, of course. If I want to import my contacts from one service to another, or have a central place where all my contacts are defined and allow new services I want to sign up to use, I need some sort of structure or structuring of my network, because I don't want all my Flickr contacts imported into LinkedIn. Even if my personal life and my public life, personal life and work life are getting more and more mixed, I still want different groups of people for different services. So maybe if I have a way to organize my contact list and say, oh well, actually the people who are marked good friend on Flickr, I want them imported into LinkedIn. The people who are marked co-worker or business contact on Flickr, I also want them imported into LinkedIn. So having structure will actually help portability be usable. And privacy, and that is really, really important. Privacy by obscurity is going to wither away, we know that. And the only way I can really manage my privacy is by defining the relationships I have with people in a more subtle way. Okay? Relationships in the offline world, real relationships, 4 minutes, okay, I'll be quick. That's good, we're reaching the end. Relationships are complicated things, they're messy, they change. And saying friend or not friend just doesn't work if I'm going to use those relationships to give people access to certain things about myself. In the real world, I hate saying real world, in the offline world, we do it naturally. I talk about, my latest boy problems with this group of girlfriends of mine, plus my 2 exes that I've stayed in touch with. These are my people for that kind of stuff. And I go to the cinema with this group of people, but with those I don't. Okay? We have groups like that. They're not really explicit, but we need to be able to reproduce that in some way in our social networks. Portability needs structure. I've said that already. Social networks, and I think what we're trying to do with them online, turns around who are the people in my world? What do I want to do with them? With these different people? And in the end, we have a kind of tricky question, which I'm going to leave you with, which is ownership. If we start having portability, if we start defining complex or subtle relationships between different users, who owns that information? I clearly think that I should own it, in a way, so I should have a kind of store with my profile information, my contacts, who they are to me, and give access to other services or networks. Okay? But, I mean, is it going to be Google because they have the social graph, open social thing? Or is it going to be Facebook because they've got all these applications? Or is it going to be something else? Or is it going to be my OpenID because that's where I have my OpenID? Right. So I hope that I've managed to show you from the perspective of somebody using a system why it's important, A, to be able to transfer data from one system to another, okay, give access to who my contacts are from one system to another, and also organize my contacts in a way. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. I don't. We can do maybe just
my
one.
best.
Just one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody else? Yeah.
What's your opinion
opinion about interpolating friends.
About integrating
interpolating friends from my friends list. So 5 of my friends add somebody as a friend. Is it okay for the service to suggest to me, you probably know that person?
Oh, like for example what Doppler does.
Or like LinkedIn does. You probably know this person.
Yeah, so what the system does is looks at the friends of my friends and says, hey, here are some people that you might know or you might be interested in. I haven't given much thought to it, but personally as a user I love it. Because when I just signed up for a friend feed, which is, the new thing that's just showed up. And so I'm trying to, connect to all my friends on there, and it's really annoying because I have to just walk through the lists of friends of my friends to see if I've missed somebody. I'd really like it if, so friend feed does show me recommended people, so people who appear a lot in my friends list. It's too limited. I really wish there was something like, show me who the friends of my friends are. But not necessarily this person's friend, but a group. Yeah, I think that's useful.
I'm going to have...
You pick the people who are asking the questions.
No, I'm going to actually have to...
Cut?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Well, catch me at lunch.
And next up is